as the air surrounds us, as air surrounds the substances that are present in the surrounding air surrounds space. Air forms the layer of blanket around the Earth's surface. Most important pressure that is present, or most abundant pressure that is present in our air pressure that is exerted by the air, or the atmospheric pressure that is exerted by the air. The Earth is surrounded by air all around the Earth's surface. A layer of blanket is formed around the surface of the Earth. At certain height, even at a lower height or at the uppermost layer height, the Earth's surface is surrounded by the air. Dia, Nikesh. Okay. So basically, air is present everywhere. Air is surrounded everywhere. The blanket of the air is present everywhere, and this air exerts some amount of weight and some amount of space is occupied by the air, because of which it exerts enormous pressure on the surrounding area that is by the air in the atmosphere is regarded as the air pressure. Before studying air pressure, we studied larger amount of activities that is related to air pressure, we need to understand what is pressure. Yes, since you have already studied, can you tell me what air, except air that is present in the surrounding area, does any other substance pressure? Can anyone tell me, except the air that surrounds us, does any other substance that is present in our surrounding exert the pressure? Mass. Okay. Typically, what is there in my hand? Pencil. Does it exert the pressure or not? Does it exert the pressure or not? So basically, when I am holding a pencil in my hand, am I exerting a pressure? Yes. No. Yes. How can you say I am exerting a pressure when I am merely holding a pencil?
Ma'am, no, when you are writing, you are exerting a pressure.
When I am writing, I am exerting a pressure. Okay? Is that everyone?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So basically, when I'm holding a pencil, I'm exerting a pressure because I'm applying certain amount of force in this pencil to hold the pencil, and certain amount of area is occupied by my finger to hold the pencil, because of which I'm exerting a pressure in this particular pencil. So basically, every matter that is present in our surrounding area exerts pressure, that we have already studied. Yes, every substance, every abstract things that are present in the surrounding area, every matter that has weight and that occupies space exert the pressure. The slippers that we wear, the heels that we wear, the pencil while we are writing, similarly the nails when it is fixed in the walls, as well as several other substances that is present in the surrounding area that occupy the space that has certain amount of weight exerts the pressure. So pressure basically we need to study what is pressure. Pressure basically is the thing. Okay, before I tell you the definition of pressure, can you tell me what is pressure? As we all know, everything that occupies a space that has weight exerts the pressure. Yes or no? So can you tell me what is pressure? Simply pressure. Yes, can anyone tell me what is pressure? Simply, what is pressure? You don't need to give the exact definition. Okay, so
pressure is the force per unit area.
If I poke my chest with my hand, with my finger, I'm exerting a pressure. Yes or no? Am I exerting a pressure?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
While I'm poking my cheek with my hand, with my finger, I'm exerting certain amount of force. Yes or no? While I am poking, I'm exerting certain amount of force. So simply the amount of force that is exerted by any type of object, it does not necessarily have to be my finger, but any type of object that is present in the surrounding area is regarded as pressure. कुनै पनि amount of force कुनै objectले यदि produce गर्छ भने that is regarded as the pressure. Clear? So as my finger is poking towards my cheeks, I'm exerting certain amount of force. You all are familiar. Yes, I'm
Yes, ma'am.
exerting certain amount of force. Since I'm exerting certain amount of force, then I am applying certain amount of pressure. Clear? So basically, depending upon how much amount of force is exerted by certain object, the pressure also depends. That means pressure applied by the object, pressure exerted by the particular substance or particular object directly depends upon the force applied by the object or force applied into the object. For example, a pencil. We all know pencil have two ends. Yes, we all know pencil have how many ends? Two ends. One end is yes, one end is pencil have two ends. We all know that. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
type of ends are present in pencil? What type of ends are present in pencil?
Blunt and sharp.
Blunt and sharp. So pencils basically have blunt end and end. We all know this pencil can exert certain amount of pressure. Both ends, the blunt end as well as the sharp end, can exert certain amount of pressure. As we have already known, pressure is the force exerted by the particular object. कुनै objectले कति amount of force exert गर्छ, कति amount of force release गर्छ, that is regarded as the pressure. In general layman's general language, if we forget about physics, if we only study in a general language, how much amount of force is exerted by object, by staff, that is regarded as the pressure. Simple language ma भन्नु पर्दा. Clear? So, since the force is directly proportional to the pressure exerted. Force is directly proportional to pressure exerted. This pencil has two ends, one blunt end and one sharp end. When we press our hand with the help of the blunt end, we apply certain amount of pressure. Yes or no? Similarly, we also apply certain amount of pressure when we exert force on the sharp end of the pencil. दुईटै एन्डले हामीले यदि घुच्यौं भने certain amount of force exerted. Now you tell me which end creates more pain in our hand? Sharp end or the blunt?
Sharp end.
Can you tell me why does the sharp end creates more pain in our hand? We have already studied this amount.
Because the area applied is less.
Because the area of the sharper end is lesser in comparison to the area of the blunt end. That means the pressure exerted by the object is inversely proportional to the area by the object. Clear? Pressure exerted by the particular object is inversely proportional to the area occupied by the object. While you study pressure, you need to know two things. That is, pressure basically depends upon force and area. What are the elements? What are the factors on which pressure depends? Force and area. Pressure directly depends upon the force. Pressure directly depends upon the force. That is, the more amount of force is applied, how many tons? What are you doing? Okay. So the more amount of the force is applied by the object, more will be the pressure. And if less amount of force is applied by the object or applied in the object, pressure exerted will also be lesser. Clear up here? Similarly, next factor on which the pressure depends is area occupied by the object. The lesser the area, more pressure will be exerted. जति थोरै एरिया भयो त्यति नै के हुन्छ त प्रेसर बढी हुन्छ, जति धेरै एरिया भयो त्यति नै प्रेसर के हुन्छ, त्यति धेरै एरिया भयो प्रेसर त्यति नै कम हुन्छ. Clear? That is why the sharper end of the pencil causes more pain to our hand than the blunt end of the pencil. Besides these, there are several structures that are constructed in our surrounding area on the basis of this particular formula, that is, the force exerted, the pressure exerted will be lesser if the area occupied by the particular object will be lesser. The foundation of the buildings are made smaller in comparison to the other parts of the building, because the foundation of the building, if it is lesser, it occupies lesser area, and then the lesser pressure will be exerted on the ground. Besides these, there are several other day-to-day life examples that we have already studied in class 7 that helps to prove that lesser area helps in exerting more pressure, and the higher area helps in exerting lesser pressure. So basically, the pressure, whether it is the pressure that is created by this particular substances, pencils, papers, or any other solid substances, liquid substances, or the life. All of these things, the pressure exerted by the solid substances, pressure exerted by the liquid substance, and pressure exerted by the air or the atmospheric pressure is also solid, liquid, and gaseous substances exerts huge amounts of air that is covered by the particular substances. But all of these pressure occupied or exerted by all of the substances, whether it is solid, liquid, or gaseous substances, all of these pressures are equally important. Depending upon when we talk about the Shreya, is there any problem?
No, ma'am.
Shreya? So did you understand what is pressure?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now tell me what is pressure then. Tell me what is pressure.
Physical force exerted on an object by an object.
Okay. That is physical force that is exerted on the force that is exerted by the object in the surrounding area is regarded as the pressure. Clear? Basically, that is the definition in the layman languages. In general languages, the force exerted by the substances or the objects in the surrounding area is regarded as the pressure. But when we talk about the pressure in physics, pressure basically is the force upon area, that is force applied per unit area. Certain area ma hamle kati force apply garchau, that is regarded as the more force that we apply, the lesser the area, more pressure will be applied, and the more is the area, lesser pressure will be applied in the surrounding area. And this formula, this principle is applied in our day-to-day life for construction of buildings and dams to several other activities. Besides these, we all are very, very familiar. Every substrate that occupies certain space exerts the pressure in the surrounding area, that is whether it is a solid substance, liquid substance, and gaseous substances. Basically, the gaseous substances in the form of the air, it exerts pressure, and it exerts pressure in all of the direction that in our surrounding area. Basically, the air is present everywhere. Air surrounds the Earth's surface. Air is present everywhere because of this particular reason. Because of this reason, the air basically applies pressure, or the pressure is present. Pressure exerted by the air is present everywhere. We have the atmospheric pressure. The atmospheric pressure that is exerted on the surface of the Earth. Sorry. The pressure that is exerted by the air on the surface of the earth depends upon or differs from one place to another places, depending upon the altitude. Depending upon the altitude or height from certain level of the earth's surface, the level of the pressure also differs from one place to another place. Basically, the atmospheric pressure keeps on decreasing as the height of the keeps on increasing as the height from the sea level of the Earth's surface keeps on increasing. जति height बढ्दै गछ, जति height बढ्यो त्यति नै के हुन्छ, pressure will be lost. Atmospheric pressure basically decreases as we go towards the upper level. As the layer of the air becomes thinner and thinner with the altitude, the atmospheric pressure also decreases. The lower the layer, atmospheric pressure will be higher. That means त्यसको नजिकै हुन्छौं त्यति नै के हुन्छ त atmospheric pressure will be higher. जति हामी अर्थ सर्फेस माथि altitude बढ्दै जान्छ atmospheric pressure will be very very less. Because of this, in the mountainous region, as the air becomes very thinner in those regions, in the higher Himalayan region, in the highest peak, the air be very thinner at those levels, the atmospheric pressure also becomes very very thinner in those particular layers. Basically, atmospheric pressure is measured in reference to the sea level. The atmospheric pressure at the sea level is 760 mm of G. Depending upon the mercury that is present in the barometer, we basically measure the atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure is measured with the help of the instrument called barometer, which comprises of the mercury inside it. So, the rise and flow of the mercury, depending upon the height, the rise of mercury determines the atmospheric pressure at the particular place. And the exact atmospheric pressure at the sea level is basically 760 mm of G, which keeps on decreasing as we increase the air. This atmospheric pressure, as we increase the altitude. This atmospheric pressure changes. As I've already told you, atmospheric pressure is not same everywhere. It is same only at the level of the sea. नजिकै चाहिँ के हुन्छ त atmospheric pressure will be almost similar, that is 760 mm of G. As the places changes, as the altitude changes, as they move upper layer or the lower level to the sea level, from the sea level, then the atmospheric pressure keeps on increasing or decreasing. Most of the time, as we move from the sea level towards a higher altitude, the atmospheric pressure keeps on decreasing. These atmospheric pressures are present everywhere, which can be proved with the help of the activities that is given in your book. So please read your I guess attendance. Please go that activity. Are you reading, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you sure?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
That is a very, very simple activity. Okay, very simple activity. Please read it. Today is 23, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, finished reading?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
So did you understand what
Ma'am,
does it is?
yeah.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, asking.
Yes, ma'am.
Someone was going to ask something, yes or no?
No, ma'am.
What did you understand from that? Can you tell me what did you understand before I tell you? What did you understand? What does this activity proves? Simply that. What does this particular activity proves? Can you tell me? You read the activity, no? What does this activity proves? Basically, this particular activity proves that atmospheric pressure is present everywhere. Yes or no? There is presence of atmospheric pressure. What does it prove? There is presence of atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure is present everywhere, which is proved by the particular statement. So, I'll try to play a video. If it not be played, please tell me, okay?
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So can you see the screen shared here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The same activity will be put here. You just read the activity, yes?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Magic. Okay, just read this.
कॉपी क्या हुआ है?
Okay. So basically, what this particular experiment proves, particular activity proves is that when we hold the glass that is filled with the water, and at the top of which, yes, Kriti, is there any problem?
No, ma'am.
Why are you raising your hand then? Okay. So basically, for this activity, for this class, because of it, the cardboard remain in its own position and the water will not be spilled out from the glass tumbler. Yeah. Besides this, there is also given another activity, activity 2, which also helps to prove that the atmospheric pressure is not only present within the surrounding area in a confined place, as well as in the empty cans, empty bottles also contains certain amount of pressure. For this purpose, we should take a metallic tin, metallic can, or any type of metal substances that consist of the lead. Now put some water inside this metallic can and heat the water, boil the water properly. First of all, take the metallic can. What can we do? Take the metallic can, then boil the water. After taking the metallic can, boil the water properly. Heat the water that is present inside the metallic can. And a period of time after the water starts to boil, close the lid of the can properly. Close the lid of the can properly and cool the can. You let the can cool for some period of time. After with the help of you can cool it, letting it remain inside for some period of time, or you can also pour some amount of water of the can माथिबाट तिमीले slowly चिसो पानी हाल्दियौ भने पनि we can see the effect of the atmospheric pressure. Take a can that is filled with the water, heat the can properly. When the water boils, close the lid and close the lid and close the heat itself. After that, pour the cold water above the can. When we pour the cold water above the can, we can see the squeezing of the can itself. As shown in the picture, the can starts to squeeze. Why is it so? Can you tell me? The can basically begins to squeeze. Why is it so?
Ma'am, due to the air pressure.
Due to air pressure. The air pressure is present. The air pressure is present outside the can. Yes? कति पनि air pressure हुन्छ त्यो air pressure water pressure भन्दा बढी हुन्छ. So the air pressure that is present outside the can is basically more in comparison to the air pressure that is present inside the can. Because of this, there is squeezing of or distortion of the cans after it is poured with the cool water. Basically, the squeezing starts in pressure inside the can as well as the atmospheric pressure that is present outside the can itself. There is presence of the pressure inside and outside the can equally. Equal pressure. The pressure is present inside the can as well as outside the can. But the pressure that was present inside the can before the boiling of the water and the pressure that is present after the boiling of the water inside the can is very different. It will be very, very different. As we begin to heat the can properly, as we begin to heat the can, the temperature changes because of this. The atmospheric pressure or the pressure that is present inside the can also changes. But as soon as we pour the cold water inside it, the volume of the air that is present inside the can decreases. Because of this, the atmospheric layer, the atmospheric pressure also decreases inside the can. So we can say the atmospheric pressure outside the can is more in comparison to the atmospheric pressure inside the can. Because of this, we can see the squeezing of can when we pour the can itself. Clear? So next activity
Yes.
is also given to tell us to basically tell us the yes, Manjila.
Ma'am,
Yes.
can I ask one question
Yes, yes, hurry up. Yes,
Ma'am,
yes.
what is the shape of particles of minerals?
Shape of what?
Particles of minerals.
Shape of particles of
Minerals.
minerals. So basically, minerals have different shapes depending upon the type of minerals that is present in different substances. That is from structure of the earth. No.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.